see how I added over 400 subscribers to my email list in a single day with content marketing. Okay, so you know that you need to build an email list, but you don't know how to do it without spending a fortune on ads. So here are the 3 marketing channels that I use to grow my own email list. They are YouTube, webinars, and blog posts. Now you might be thinking, do I really need to use all 3 channels at once? No, you don't. Just start with one. Maybe YouTube if you're comfortable on camera, or blog posts if you prefer writing, or webinars if you want fast results. And once you've got one working for you, then add a second and then add a third. But the key is to start. And if you're already publishing content, good news, because then you're already halfway there. You see, every time I publish new content online, I get another wave of email subscribers. But what most people don't realize is each time content is published, it opens up a whole new world of distribution opportunities. I'll come back to that later on. So let me show you how each channel works and how you can use it to build an email list. So let's start with YouTube because it's the one I use most. Now, all of my YouTube videos are geared towards getting email subscribers. That's my end goal. And I always start from that point and work backwards. So I think about each lead magnet that I want to promote, and then I build content around that specifically. Okay, so I think about what people need before they need my lead magnet. So I work further back in the chain, and then I create content to match that need. And then when I introduce my lead magnet, it just feels like the next natural step for the audience to take. And I usually just ask my viewers to click a link in the description or go directly to a web page, or I show a QR code on screen sometimes. And it's just a simple and really direct approach. But the point is, before you ask people to subscribe to your email list, your videos need to whet their appetite, which means striking a balance between 2 types of educational content. So we've got deep dives and quick wins. You need both types of content. So deep dives are like comprehensive tutorials that position you as an expert. And then you've got quick wins, which are tactical videos that help people to get results immediately and then make them want more. Now listen, I can talk about making YouTube videos at length. I can talk about how to structure them, how to edit them, how to grade them, color grade them. So let me know in the comments if you want more of that type of content. Okay, so let's move on to the next channel, which is webinars. So look at this. This webinar grew my email list by 24,000 subscribers. And then we have another one here, which grew it by 26,000 subscribers. Now, most people will tell you that webinars are just a vehicle to promote something or to sell something. But we can actually use them to build an email list of leads because, well, most of the people attending the webinar won't buy from you. It's just the way things are, right? So you may as well funnel the people who don't buy from you into a nurture list and then come back and convert them into buyers later on. Think about it. Okay, so if like 100 people attend your webinar and 5 of them buy, then you've just added 95 qualified leads to your email list. And because they've already spent probably an hour with you, they're now warm leads who just need a little bit more time before they buy. So it's easier to convert them into customers later on. And thankfully, pretty much all webinar software out there at the moment integrates with pretty much all email providers. So the moment that someone registers for your webinar, you tag them and then automatically add them to a sequence. It's automated. This is what mine looks like. So it triggers the second that a lead is tagged, and then it runs a true or false split and then delivers different email content depending on the action that the lead takes. So my webinar stack looks like this. So I run a webinar with Webinar Jam, and then I run automated reruns with EverWebinar. And when an attendee registers, they are immediately sent to Kartra, which runs the sequence and delivers the emails. Now, the third channel that I use are blog posts. I don't use them as much, but it's kind of harder to convert traffic into leads with blog posts, and it typically converts at around 2 to 5%, but you can increase that by doing 3 things. So most bloggers make a massive mistake. So they create content and then they have this pop-up box that triggers the second that someone lands on their article. You've seen that, right? But what usually happens? Well, you close it immediately without really reading it, right? You just want it out of the way, which means people don't subscribe. Now, I'm not saying don't use pop-ups. We do, but we just have to use them in the right way. I'll tell you more about that in a second. But the first thing that you need to do is put your call to action, the opt-in form, the subscribe button, directly inside the content itself. So you embed that with a plugin. So your visitors don't even need to leave the page to join your email list. It reduces friction. The second thing to do is to move that opt-in form and the CTA above the fold so people don't have to scroll. And then the third thing to do is to come back to this pop-up idea. So instead of having it trigger on landing as soon as someone lands on the page, we use an exit intent pop-up. So instead of annoying the visitors when they arrive, we catch them when they're about to leave the page. And I use Thrive Leads for mine, right? It's bulky software. It's a bit dated. It feels horrible to use, but it's good enough for me and my needs. Okay, so these 3 marketing channels, it's a solid foundation. But what if you want to multiply their effectiveness? And if you want to build a complete distribution network every time you publish new content and reach a much wider audience? Well, I'm going to give you a method to do that, and it only takes you around 10 minutes to do per every piece of content you make. So head over to webtrafficformula.com and watch those videos for 100% free traffic. See you again soon.